What's going on, everybody? So, you maybe watched my previous build guide for my Eternal Realm all minion necro. I'm on the Eternal Realm right now because I'm going to show off the build. It'll absolutely work in the seasons. I'm going to tell you what adjustments I'm going to make for the season, because seeing the Malignant Hearts with the basically autoplay, I'm like, you know what? They made my build probably more enjoyable. I'm going to go and try it out now. So I'm going to dive right into it, tell you what changes I'm going to make for the season, since I am on the Eternal Realm. And as you can see, I'm 87. The build absolutely works in the end game, so it'll absolutely work in the season. Probably even better with the Malignant Hearts. But yeah, let's do it. So the skill tree, pretty basic. All minion all the time. So you're not going to see a lot of skill usage here. Decompose, I only got three points in because I'm proccing the 10% bonus damage right there, plus some shadow damage over time there. I have Blight for the same effect basically, but in the season I am not using the skill at all. I'm actually level 27. Been grinding hard. I'm basically just doing the same thing, but I just have Decompose. I have the Thorns. I have the Skeleton Warrior Mastery. I don't have these yet in the seasonal, but I will end up getting Grim Harvest and Fueled by Death, because those are good. We've got Death's Embrace, all three. We've got Death's Reach, all three there as well. And Skeletal Mage Mastery. So as you can see, there's not any skills. Yeah, except for Blight, which I am removing, and Decompose, the basic skill. You need one of those. But Corpse Tendril is the shining star of this build. It with the Malignant Hearts, it's going to be proccing automatically. Plus, you can proc it yourself every 6 seconds. It provides stun. It provides slow. It provides vulnerable. So that is 3 status effects that are provided by one skill, so you can capitalize on all those junk stats that you get on all the gear. We've got 3 necrotic carapaces for some fortify when you're generating corpses. You know, and up in here to get through this tree, make sure you grab Hued Flesh. Lucky hit has a chance to generate a corpse. That is pretty essential as well. You're going to want a lot of corpses, but at a certain point, if you have too many corpses, you can dial it back in certain ways, and I'll show you that later. Golem Mastery, of course. And I'm going to be honest with you, all of the Necro Ultimates suck dicks, and all of the capstones pretty much suck dicks, but you can make do with Bone Storm and Shadow Blight with a certain legendary if you want. You can play around with them in any ways you want, or just forego them altogether, or if you just want to go strictly minions and not think about the bullshit, you can take Kalin's Edict and Army of the Dead, but they're fucking garbage. I would take Bone Storm and Shadow Blight and try to work in the legendary to make those darkness skill, because you will be proccing damage, shadow damage with Decompose or Blight or Corpse, sorry, what are they called? A curse skill if you have any of those. You might have the auto curse on your Malignant Hearts, or you might be using a curse in general. So that's the Shadow Blight is probably the best one, but I think they're all pretty much junk. But let's see, did I pass anything? Not really. Up in here, you're pretty much taking all of these skills because it's essential for your minion survival. A little bit of extra damage here and there. I took a point out of the while healthy attack speed for minions because you're getting hit often, so chances are this might turn out to be wasted skill points. This might turn out to be wasted skill points if you're not standing close to your minions. So consider not taking those and putting stats in other places if you feel the need. Damaging enemies with darkness skills increases movement speed and stuff like that are pretty good. And I think there's some damage while amplified damage to cursed enemies. 3 points there would probably be better if you're working the what's it called, the curse into your build. The Paragon is a lot to get into, so I'm just going to try to keep it brief here. I didn't really try to fine-tune this, but you probably can. And I also didn't know you could turn these when I first went into it. But yeah, so you got a Gravekeeper. I have Gravekeeper going, deal increased damage up to 12% for every close corpse. You're going to be standing around a lot of corpses often, so this is good. Yeah, definitely good to have. Plus, it buffs your other skills there. But you can play around with these absolutely. We went up into the cult leader tree. Got all the essentials there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with that because if you're really getting in depth, you're probably going to want to figure this out yourself, or you know, plan it out on a max roll or something like that. Dead Razor up in here is pretty essential because it's buffing your Overlord minion damage, custody minion damage reduction, yada yada. Then I went over into the tree with Scent of Death. With at least 2 corpses nearby, you gain 15% damage reduction. So again, you're going to be around a lot of corpses, more than likely. But if by chance you're not near corpses, 15% increased damage, and that is straight to your flat damage on your sheet. So where my stat says 7,900, if you saw it before I came in here, out in the field, that'll be more like 9,000 because of this buff if I'm not standing near corpses. So you can always try to eat the corpses that are closest to you first. That'll help you get a damage buff. But either way, you're getting something out of this, which is why I love it. And it pairs with a lot of the other stuff that has you standing near corpses anyway. So that's a great time. You and your minions deal 10% increased damage to slow or chilled enemies. Instead 20% increased damage to stunned or frozen enemy. You're going to have a lot of stunning with your corpse tendrils. So this is a fucking great ability or great glyph to have. You know, it provides a lot of bonus damage to crowd control, you know, whatever. So great thing to have. Go for it. And then I was going up into this tree, which I would end up getting Flesh Eater if I had hit level 100. But I didn't feel like doing that shit. It's bullshit. And then we have our exploit up in here. I did make sure to get that in the build because that is pretty essential. Even though I can't get a lot of extra vulnerability, whatever out of it. I did go for it because it was completely broken. Now that they dialed it back a little bit, that might be something you can take out of there. But whatever. All right, enough spent with that stuff because that's kind of, you know, a little bit over some people's heads. Let's just get into the gear. So, as you can see on the weapon, I got the Bone Storm, inflicts darkness to proc the Bone Storm with the Shadow Blight key passive. If I didn't have this, I would have the longer your minions are alive, they gain 30% bonus damage or something like that. I was playing around between the two, swapping them. I think I prefer the other one. If your minions are constantly alive, that's a great thing to have. 30% all day. But I didn't get a chance to switch it back, so, you know, you can play around with that. We've got the 2 increased skeletal warriors, 2 increased skeletal mages. I've got distant enemies, 8% chance to be stunned, but that's dog shit. You deal 20% increased damage to stunned enemies. It looks like they nerfed that, but you're doing a lot of stunning, so you're gonna get a good benefit out of that. Basic skill grants 20% damage reduction. The only skill I'm pretty much casting is Decompose, so you're always going to get damage reduction out of that. Mages, every 8 seconds, your mages cast a Blizzard, essential in an all minion build. You've got to have that. The second essential in the minion build, they nerfed this a little bit too, but it's still great. On your necklace, I think is the best slot for it. Gain 30% increased critical strike chance for 6 seconds when you cast Corpse Tendrils. Your Corpse Tendrils is going to be going off every 6 seconds, pretty much guaranteed. If you got the Malignant Hearts. But if this is totally reliant on you casting it, you can absolutely get your Corpse Tendrils down to 6 seconds or less anyway. So this is going to be 100% uptime. Not just the crit chance, but you're also going to get 60% bonus critical strike damage to the enemies that were damaged by the Corpse Tendrils. And more than likely, that bonus damage will apply to all the Corpse Tendrils going off, additionally. And then I use a shield because it adds a little bit of extra survivability. And I liked having the additional length of the crowd control with the stun. Help keeps the stun up time slow, all that, because I have a lot of stun, slow, whatever crowd controls. Chill from the mages. I liked having that uptime, plus enemies that are unstoppable, which if you're applying a lot of statuses, chances are there might be enemies that go unstoppable a lot, or there's elites that go unstoppable. I thought 40% bonus damage to unstoppable enemies is probably the best thing in the slot if you are using a shield. But they did add a couple new effects that I didn't really explore into. The new Lidless Wall might be good to look into if you are using Bone Storm and stuff like that. Even without the sacrifice bonuses, it might be good because you'll have 2 Bone Storms, 1 from you, 1 your Golem, and then it should give you 1 bonus one. If you aren't sacrificing. But you can use an attack offhand in this slot and benefit from this in a different way. Just pick your attack aspect of choice. So that's the gear. I'm going to talk about the Malignant Hearts real quick. So absolutely you want the automatic corpse ability. That's going to be, in this build especially, it's just going to be automatically casting that Tendril, helping me keep the uptime. Tendril here, Tendril there, Tendril everywhere. It's going to be great applying stun, slow, vulnerable, 100% uptime. And that's pretty much all you need. That'll be applying lucky hits for your Ring of Mendelin, which is an essential in the build as well. And then the last piece of gear I had there was a toss-up as well. 20% increased critical strike chance against injured enemies, and while you are healthy, you gain 40% increased crowd control duration. Yeah, this one's a toss-up, but I do have a shitload of healthy damage and injured damage in this build. So chances are you're going to be knocking them down the injured and then benefiting from that crit rate. So it's decent. Not the best, but it's decent. But yeah, the Malignant Hearts, obviously you want the automatic Tendrils. I know a lot of people are doing the automatic Curse. I think I'm going to mix it up. Since I'm taking out Blight, I'm taking out all need of Essence from my build. I think that I'm going to try the one that lowers essence drainage and also increases your essence recovery. And the one where while you have full essence, your minions get 75% bonus damage. But it drains your essence. And then if that is too much drainage, I'm going to work in the cold mages where they recover my essence. And then I think there is something else. As is, though, I'm using the frozen or damaged by frozen, whatever, That's just extra vulnerable. Frozen Frozen is an extra affix you're adding to enemies to proc more bonus damage. So that all around worked out for me. But I'm gonna try that out with the Essence Drain, 75% minion damage, not have any Essence skills. I'm gonna have the Essence Gain there. Golem, I do the Blood Golem, where he absorbs 15% of the damage you would take. This is absolutely great, especially in the end game. Your minions, all your minions are still getting 30% of your stats anyway. The only benefit to, like, some of these things, where you get more, like, it takes it from 30% base to 50%. So, like, the Bone Golem's kind of shit if you're doing a Thorns. Even, like, I have a lot of Thorns on my build, but I found that he was trash. This one, Bone Golem, or Blood Golem, 15% damage you would take is infinitely better. If you're going to have more than enough vulnerable that you don't need Iron Golem for that. And yeah, this other one is just whatever. That one's irrelevant. Blood Golem, 15% damage reduction, absolutely the best. Cold Mages, absolutely the best and essential for the boots. And then I found, hands down, I played with Defenders for Thorns for 90% of this playthrough, and I switched to Reapers with the cooldown where if they're hitting a crowd-controlled enemy or vulnerable enemy, it reduces the cooldown of their powerful wind-up attack by 2 seconds. Fucking best, hands down, best minions. Fuck the other minions. I don't care what anyone says. They're lying to you. They're shit. These are the best. Absolutely. If you feel, though, you're having trouble, as I mentioned before, with corpse generation, try the Reapers where they have a chance to carve the flesh. Because that'll help you with the corpse generation. But if you have more than enough corpse gen, you want DPS, this is going to help them start slamming out DPS. And they're ranged. It's a wind-up swipe, so it's an AoE. It's a great fucking attack. Yeah, is that it? Is that the character? That's the character. That's the build. It worked. It worked. It got me through Nightmare Dungeons up past 50 or so, until I was, like, sick of this shit. But now I'm doing the season. We're going to try the Malignant Hearts, see how that works into the build, see if I can make the no skill, 100% no skill, except for Decompose and Minions, Necromancer work. I'm probably even going to cut out the ultimate and the capstone on that build and just take extra passives and see how we do with it. But I just want to go. Let's go out real quick and take a look. Take a look at her. This is my dude. My eternal dude. I made my seasonal chick. It's a little matching outfit thing going on. Yeah, we're in tier 2. We're just rocking straight to tier 2. And I'll show you the build on here so far. Just briefly, not in depth. My PC's a piece of shit, and it's slow. Forgive me. Alright, so you see my toolbar here. We got Decompose, Tendrils, Golem, Raised Skeleton. That's the whole build so far on this character. I'm not even trying real hard with the legendaries. I've just taken whatever. I've taken whatever I can get. This is an interesting aspect, but it's just defensive, so it's, you know, kind of trash. Not really great for a build, in my opinion. But yeah, that's it. So, yeah, I'm just using whatever Malignant Hearts for now, except for the Auto Corpse, of course. And yeah, we're gonna grind it out. Same build as I did on Eternal, except I'm nuking Blight out of the build, and I'm just going to try to go for Essence Gen and the bonus damage with minions with full Essence. But yeah, best of luck in the season, everybody. Enjoy. Take it easy. I'll catch you later.